Hello guys, welcome back to the Brutal Investors channel. I hope you guys are having a fantastic day today. In this episode, we're going to talk about another project that recently got listed on Coinbase, and this project is called Aergo, or the AERGO token, right? Again, as always guys, I highly recommend you guys to do your own research on any of the projects we cover in our channel. And for this project, I recommend you guys to go to the website aergo.io in order to learn more about this project, right? But before we talk about Aergo, I want to talk to you guys about Gateio. Gateio is a centralized exchange that's known for listing low market cap gem tokens way before they get listed on major centralized exchanges such as Binance or Coinbase. What this means is, if you have a Gateio account and if you buy these low market cap gem tokens, you stand a chance to get 10, 20, 50 or even 100x gains on these tokens. And if you don't have a Gateio account, I suggest you to use the link in the description or on the screen right now in order to set up your Gateio account and buy these low market cap gems, so that you not just have a chance of making multiple gains, but you also have a 30% rebate option for any cryptos that you buy, right? And by using the link to sign up for the Gateio account, you're also supporting the Brutal Investor channel, for which I thank you in advance. So going to the Aergo token, for the purpose of this video, I'm going to rely on the information presented on CoinMarketCap's page for this token, along with the information presented on the website itself. But this is only going to be a peripheral analysis, which means you need to do your own in-depth research before you put your hard-earned money on this token, right? So what is Aergo? Aergo describes itself as an open source enterprise blockchain platform optimized for hybrid deployments, which consists of both permissioned and permissionless blockchain architecture. So what Aergo aims to do is, it describes itself as an open source enterprise blockchain. So it's specifically designed and built for enterprise enterprise partners, and it's a platform that's optimized for hybrid deployments. So you can deploy hybrid kind of like projects such as the ones that are permissioned and permissionless blockchain architecture. So you can deploy permissioned and permissionless projects in the same blockchain, and this blockchain is mainly headed towards the enterprise users, not necessarily for retail investors, right? So it includes support for SQL, allowing for easy data handling and familiar smart contract programming for developers. So when it comes to the platform itself, it is a platform that supports SQL, and it also allows for easy data handling and familiar with smart contract programming for developers. So developers can program smart contracts on their blockchain. So when it comes to the platform itself, it's built, the platform is built and utilized by Blocko, the Samsung-backed South Korean blockchain technology company that, according to Korean media sources, has deployed production blockchain solutions for large-scale clients including Lotte Card, Shinhan Bank, Korea Exchange, Hyundai Motors, and more. So obviously this blockchain has, since it's focused on enterprise consumers, it is focused on partnering with a lot of enterprise organizations, and it is also a platform that is built for and utilized by Blocko, which is a Samsung-backed South Korean blockchain technology company. So obviously, this company is the main focus for Aergo, and this is the main consumer for this particular blockchain. And according to Korean media, this particular company has deployed production blockchain solutions for large-scale clients such as Hyundai Motors, Korea Exchange, Shinhan Bank, Lotte Card, and others as well, right? So that's the main kind of like focus for Aergo and what it's currently doing right now. So let's go to the next section, which talks about the use cases of the Aergo blockchain, right? So designed for enterprise use cases, Aergo provides infrastructure for enterprises and developers to host dApps based on the Aergo chain. So since it is designed and focused on enterprise use cases, this platform has already been used by enterprises and developers for enterprise level to be to use and create dApps that are focused on enterprises on the Aergo chain, right? So they have built a lot of dApps already that are focused on enterprise use cases on this blockchain. Aergo offers a smart contract engine supporting Lua and SQ. Private blockchains on the Aergo platform run on a proof of authority consensus mechanism powered Raft algorithm, while the public blockchain network, the Aergo mainnet, runs on a Byzantine fault tolerance delegated proof of stake mechanism. So this section talks about some technicalities of the blockchain itself. So it is obviously a smart contract compatible blockchain, and the smart contract engines that are supported are basically SQ and Lua. And when it comes to the private side of Aergo platform, remember you can run permissionless as well as permissioned blockchains on top of Aergo. And when it comes to permissioned, which is the private blockchains, they have a separate consensus mechanism which is based on the proof of authority, which is similar to kind of like Polkadot's architecture, but a little bit different than Polkadot's architecture, and it's powered by Raft algorithm. So they have a separate algorithm that powers the proof of authority consensus mechanism, whereas when it comes to the public blockchain network, which is basically the Aergo mainnet, it uses a Byzantine fault tolerance delegated proof of stake mechanism. So they have two different consensus mechanisms depending on whether it's a private or a public blockchain that's working on top of the Aergo ecosystem, right? To vote and manage block producers, users are able to use their platform to pay enterprise grade cloud providers such as large telecommunication firms to host their private blockchains on dedicated nodes. So when it comes to voting and management for block producers, users are able to use the platform to pay enterprise grade cloud providers. So you can use, if you're an enterprise user, you can use you can basically pay for enterprise grade cloud providers to kind of facilitate the use of the platform itself. And these basically include large telecommunication firms who host their private blockchains on dedicated nodes. So this is kind of like the difference where when it comes to enterprise use cases, there's a lot more functionalities available for enterprises than for the private blockchain on the Aergo mainnet, right? Another thing is Blocko's future services will be based on Aergo enterprise products that require Aergo tokens to work. So again, there can be multiple different tokens that can be built on the private enterprise blockchain side of Aergo, which will be kind of like deployed and managed by Blocko's future services, right? And an example use case includes a solution deployed by Lotto Card for fingerprint credit card verification. So when it comes to one of the potential use cases, this includes credit card verifications using fingerprint credit cards through the Lotto Card mechanism that is already deployed on the private enterprise side of the Aergo blockchain, right? So the solution is built using a version of Aergo's Lua smart contracts with SQL integration, which has reportedly saved Lotto Card 90% of their manual security expenditures for fingerprint authentication. So they have already used this scenario for fingerprint credit card verification, and it's estimated that about 90% of the manual security expenditures has been reduced by using Aergo blockchain's private enterprise use case, which in this case is fingerprint credit card verification, right? So this is already turning out to be a valuable use case whereby it has saved a lot of money for the firm who's running this feature, right? So clients include POSCO, Korea Stock Exchange, Shinhan Bank, and Hyundai Motor Group. So obviously, the fact that they have proven that they can save tons of money by using their services has obviously attracted a lot more bigger players, which includes Hyundai Motors, Shinhan Bank, Korea Stock Exchange, as well as POSCO, which is also another Korean company, right? So obviously they have a lot of focus on the enterprise side of things rather than retail use cases, and it's good to see that their implementation is already working out well for several enterprises, right? So now that we covered Aergo at a peripheral level, let's go to the website itself, which is aergo.io. Again, right off the bat, they have a pretty cool website with a really cool dark theme background. The blockchain for businesses. Again, this is pretty much the only thing that you have to understand if you don't understand anything about this project. This is a blockchain specifically built for businesses. Again, even though they have a public blockchain, the overall focus of this particular project is to specifically cater towards enterprise users or businesses, right? So unlock your business potential. So if you are a business and if you do want to take advantage of Aero's blockchain smart contract technology, you can definitely do that, right? Ergo key features. So some of the key features includes, again, when it comes to business usages, you need to have high performance, which they obviously do have, high availability, scalable hybrid architecture. So when it comes to business applications, you need to have a blockchain that's extremely scalable. You can't have something as slow and inefficient as Ethereum 1.0 or other first generation slow blockchains, which doesn't really serve the fast and kind of like quickly adapting business industries. So Aergo offers this service, which is the fast, scalable, high performing blockchain service to businesses, right? And if you scroll below, you can see some of the latest updates by clicking on the latest update button here. You can see their GitHub repository, all the information. If you are a developer, you can take advantage of these GitHub repositories to get the open source information from their blockchain. And notices and newses, if you see, you have a lot of information about some of the new news information as well as updates from their project itself. Case studies. When it comes to provincial government, this is something that's been used as a case study right now. The first among domestic provincial governments to adopt blockchain. Obviously, a lot of Korean provinces are using Aergo in order to facilitate certain transactions as well as certain enterprise requirements from the Aergo blockchain, and you can read more about that from the case studies section here, right? Blockcode launches in UAE. Again, UAE is one of the fastest growing crypto-friendly nations that is obviously integrating a lot of blockchain technology in their administrative as well as marketing as well as other infrastructures. And Aergo is definitely more catered towards enterprises. And since UAE is trying to take advantage of a lot of fast, scalable, and high performance blockchain use cases in their own government processes, it's a pretty good match in my opinion. And you can clearly read about this one here, right? So if you see papers and books, they have information about certification of blockchain certification as well as granular editing permissions. All these technicalities can be learnt about from their website here. And if you scroll below, they have information about their social media information along with their GitHub repository, which you can read through by clicking on their website here, right? And they also have other information including their white paper, resources, tools, and other documents that will help you if you are a developer to build using Aergo, right? So this is a website which is quite complicated for people like you and I, like retail investors, to understand, and there's a lot of business related terminologies and information provided for business developers as well as for people who want to start a business or people who want to integrate blockchain technology to their business, right? So I wouldn't really suggest you kind of like focus on this project too much if you don't really understand this. There are lots of other projects that definitely focus on retail investors and businesses alike. It seems like Aergo is too focused on businesses and doesn't necessarily provide a lot of information for retail investors like you and I to understand this project in bite-sized pieces. And therefore, one of the disadvantages that I would say about Aergo blockchain right off the bat is that it is not catered towards new crypto users who don't really understand the ecosystem. So there are a lot of new users who don't really understand the basics of DeFi, NFTs, and marketplaces, and so on and so forth. And them trying to understand Aergo is going to be a big learning curve, and Aergo doesn't necessarily do a good job catering towards new users, because it makes sense from their end because they're not catered towards new users or retail investors. They're mainly focused on businesses who require a high throughput and high performance blockchain, right? So in that way, I would say for retail investors, it's not really easy to learn and understand about this project because they don't really provide a lot of use cases, right? So if you go back to the CoinMarketCap page for this token is currently ranked 403rd by market cap on CoinMarketCap and is currently trading at 27 cents at the time I'm making this video, with about 0.40% decrease in the past 24 hours, right? So again, not a big decrease, but it's still a slight decrease. If you take a look at the market cap, it's still slightly less than $100 million in market cap, and even though the 24-hour price point of Aergo has gone down to 0.34%, the market cap has slightly increased to 0.21%. So it seems like the market cap is kind of like slightly higher than the price in the past 24 hours itself. So that's something that's interesting to note, because usually when the market cap, when the price is down, the market cap is also proportionately down, but it seems like there's a slight disproportion, which is because of number of reasons which may not necessarily be the scope of this video, right? So if you scroll below, you can clearly see that the token supply is 500 million tokens. Again, obviously as a retail user and investor, a token max supply of greater than 100 million tokens as a max supply would be something that's concerning to me. But since it's a token that's focused mainly on enterprise users and enterprise applications, it does make sense that the fact that they have more than 100 million tokens, or even 500 million tokens as a max supply, instead of using 1 billion or even more tokens as max supply. So from an enterprise and business standpoint, this token does have scarcity built into it, and therefore I totally understand that perspective of the tokenomics. The circulating supply is also 72% of the tokens are in circulation, which is quite impressive if you ask me, because a lot of business use cases would require some form of scarcity as well, because businesses try to take advantage of not just the platform itself, they also take advantage of the token price as an investment. And since a lot of tokens are already in circulation, it's definitely going to be a good thing for the price of this token in the long run at least, and therefore it's good to know that investors, both retail as well as non-retail investors such as enterprises, can see this tokenomics as a good strong way to increase their exposure to this token and make this a token that's something that they can add to a portfolio as its own investment, as opposed to using just the platform itself, right? So that's a good thing. In that case, I would say the tokenomics is quite good for this project compared to several other enterprise projects that we've covered so far, right? So if you take a look at the charts itself, you can clearly see that from a retail investor's perspective, the token does seem to be a good token for the short term, at least. If you see, there's predictable upwards movement as well as predictable crashes. So if you time the token movement properly, you can make some good gains, right? So the initial price of this token was worth 16 cents per token as of 18th of December 2018. So this token has been around for quite some time, and it crashed right away, reaching a price point of 7.8 cents, which is kind of like all-time lows, or not necessarily all-time lows, but it was the first low at that time. And then from that price point, it reached a new all-time highs of slightly over 60 cents per token. In fact, it was 63 cents per token before crashing down. But if you see, the crash was also equally significant as the pump, because the token reached an all-time lows of 3.2 cents per token as of 31st of December 2019, and then throughout 2020 the token has been relatively lackluster performance, occasionally reaching a peak of about 10 cents per token, but then it immediately crashed to 5 cents per token right away, right? So throughout 2020 the token didn't do really well overall, and it was kind of like in the average price of 5 to 6 cents per token throughout that year. But it was during 2021 when the token started rallying like ballistically, reaching an new all-time high. I think it will be like not really new, but it would be the same all-time highs as before. But in several other exchanges, this token did cross the previous all-time high slightly, and reaching more than 63 cents per token, which was the previous all-time high. But it did crash immediately after that, violently in fact, reaching 12 cents per token as of 16th or 21st of June 2021, and then it went back to the price point of about 57 cents per token went back down, and now it's kind of like trying to make another similar pattern of going above the 50-cent mark in the next upcoming weeks, right? So it seems like the token, even though it is kind of moving sideways for now, it is poised to go above the 50 cents mark again and trying to retest the second all-time high price points of about 53 cents per token before going back down, right? So obviously, if you take a look at the grand scheme of things, you are pretty much buying this project at this price point. If you do buy this token, you are buying it at a price point that's quite far away from its all-time highs, but it's still not its all-time lows, or not even close to being at all-time lows, and therefore you need to be very careful, because if you are trying to buy this token, you need to try to buy it at the really good bottom point. And since this token is listed on Coinbase, the floor price has increased to probably somewhere between 50 to 25 cents per token, right? So now that this token is close to its floor price, it is still a good option to buy with dollar comparative, right? Again, this is not financial advice. This is just my opinion, guys. When it comes to the Bitcoin comparative, initially the token was coupled with dollar comparative, but recently this token is quite flat and is completely decoupled from the dollar comparative. The initial price of this token was 3,119 satoshis per token, and then it went down to 1,700 satoshis per token, and then went to a new all-time highs of again close to 10,000 satoshis per token before crashing down violently, and then it kind of stayed there since to late 2019 throughout today. Even today, the price of this token is worth 558 satoshis per token, which was pretty much what it was at the end of 2019, right? So it seems like this token hasn't really significantly recovered in the Bitcoin comparative than the dollar comparative, right? But as a investor, I would probably say that this token is a really good buy opportunity in the Bitcoin comparative, because it's pretty much close to its all-time lows, but the dollar comparative, it seems to be moving sideways. So I would say Bitcoin comparative seems to be the most the lowest point of this token as of now, and therefore if you buy this token with some satoshis, you could potentially get a gain when this token starts rallying back in the Bitcoin comparative as well, right? But for now, when it comes to people who can't really manage high risk projects, then dollar comparative would make much more sense. But if you take a look at the Bitcoin comparative, it's kind of like the most riskiest option for buying this token, and therefore I would suggest newcomers to kind of not buy this token with Bitcoin comparative, right? When it comes to the markets itself, this token is listed on Bithumb, which is one of the most leading centralized exchanges on the Korean market, which unfortunately not a lot of people can buy it outside of the Korean markets. But you can obviously get this token from Gateio, which seems to be having the most liquidity and trade volume for this token. And as I mentioned before, if you don't already have a Gateio account, I suggest you to use the link in the description to create a Gateio account right away, because you will be able to buy this token as well as several other low market cap gem tokens way before they get listed on exchanges such as Binance or Coinbase, right? Speaking about Binance and Coinbase, those are other two exchanges that are also places for you to buy this token. I would probably suggest you to only focus on Gateio and Binance, because Coinbase does have quite a bit of fees when it comes to trading as well as withdrawal fees, whereas KuCoin is also a better option as well, right? So I would not go beyond Binance, Gateio, and KuCoin. Maybe if you do want to buy this token on BitMEX, which is kind of like the relatively better exchange as well, tier 2 exchange as well. But I wouldn't really suggest you buying with BitMEX when you have better options, because BitMEX does charge quite a bit of fees when it comes to withdrawing fees, right? So be careful with that, right? So what's my final verdict on this token, guys? I think this token does have some really good short-term price potentials, as you saw from the charts. It seems like for an enterprise-grade project, the token does seem to be having really good tokenomics, with 500 million tokens being the max supply, which is not really bad compared to some other projects, right? And also this project does provide a lot of important on-ramping for enterprise investors, which means outside of the Korean market, if they start expanding, this project will catch on pretty easily to major other businesses as well, right? Which will be something that's really good for the long-term price potential of this project. But it's yet to be seen on how many other projects outside of South Korea is willing to incorporate with this blockchain, right? So I can see a lot of good short-term price potential for this token. The long-term price potential only depends on how much they try to expand outside of the Korean market and go to other industries, right? Which I personally, I don't think they will be able to do that successfully, because first of all, they have a lot of challenges outside of Korea if they're trying to offer their services, because there's a lot of regulations and red tapes that they need to cross before they could be successful. And the second reason why I feel like they may not necessarily be fully successful in the long run is because of competition, because there's a lot of other projects that are coming in that are doing a much better job than Aergo. It's only going to be a matter of time before Aergo becomes really, really overwhelmed because of the competition. And as long as they continue to keep doing what they're doing and they start expanding, they should be in good shape, right? But I think for the short term, I can easily see this project reaching a price point of more than 60 cents per token, which is definitely a possibility in the next upcoming months, right? But it will definitely crash before that, before you could realize the profit, because it is a very volatile token nonetheless, right? So again, remember guys, you guys are not regular investors, you guys are brutal investors, so stay brutal. Thank you very much for watching my video guys. If you like my video, please hit the like button and subscribe for more videos. See you in my next video. Bye.